when defending.
I think it's like
Because you always use that active when defending.
I think it's like
Are we live? Of course we are. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Apologies for the start. Don't know what StreamYard was doing. I thought I was here talking. It froze and then it started playing my intro again. But it is so nice we have to run it twice. First things first, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. If you're like myself and you're over here in the United Kingdom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night to everyone else around the world. You know, obviously, it's the halfway point of the week. Hope you all having a good week in terms of your personal goals, hopes, dreams, aspirations, or overcoming any adversity, hardship, any of those sort of things you've got in your life. Speaking of adversity, I've just watched my Ethernet cable slip out. That's what she said, you know, so I put it back in. Simple as that. Ethernet cable back in. Bit annoyed myself. I'm doing well and safe. Bit annoyed because I don't know what it is. I've been trying to clip up some certain content for Football Manager for YouTube. Again, I keep hitting some shortcomings. Was uploading some content onto YouTube before we came here, and it hasn't finished. Like you've seen, like an idiot, I'm waving the bottle of water, and I don't know who clocked that, but the water's all waving about. So not the best of starts, but you've got to be adaptable. So yeah, I hope everyone's blessed. I hope everyone's safe. Obviously, transfer market is done. Transfer window is finished. We can whine about it. You can overcompensate on the fact that we've saved wages, or you can just, blast the club, to the point where you would have just sanctioned everybody and, football brings out emotions and panic, but there were certain players all year, all thingy, people were saying, don't sign, don't grab him, don't do that. And then people just want to sign players for no reason. There is no winners in the transfer market of Arsenal. Of course, long term, we freed up the wages and whatnot, but you're lying to yourself if you think you're overly happy and you can console yourself as a football fan with the fact that wages are being saved. You're not going to flip and mention wages if we drop points from now to the end of the season in these 17 games. If you're getting angry at Arsenal and things like that for not bringing players, I think you're right. We needed players, but you can't just have players for the sake of it. I don't agree with certain comments about, people make out that we're bloody a prime Barcelona or something. There's only, unless you're a prime Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, you're the only guys that can improve us. I don't advocate buying for the sake of it, but let's not act like the bar. Don't sign players for the sake of it, but we finished back-to-back 8th. All of that, we're only trying to bring in the right players. Again, it only goes so far, and you cannot look at that situation without without applying logic. Really, there's not a single side to be on. What I would say is we've lost because just for the fact of whether it was his fault or not, I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta wanted a striker or a midfielder or something in this market. He never got it, people. So I would say we've lost then, really. The manager wanted something, it never happened. So I would say we've lost it. But it is what it is. It's not that we have to accept it. This is the reality. Unless you're signing free transfers like Diego Costa, which some of you, I've watched you dismiss it to now you want it, and I don't think we should. It's over. Jack Wilshere's out giving interviews on Arsenal.com. You probably just have to accept that. Shameless, people, but check out the pin message. Today's a great day for content. I'm here with you guys right now till whenever. 3:30. These are on Twitch. The following things I'm mentioning are on Twitch, people. Graham. If you don't know Graham, tactical genius and all of those things, he's always on AFTV. I'm going to have him on my Twitch show where, again, you lot get your questions in if you want me to ask him stuff. I'm obviously going to ask him about how he feels about Arsenal at this moment, our European chances, of course, Aubameyang and the transfer window. I've got my guy Giles at 5:30, so almost after that, like an hour's break, and then we're doing that. And then after that with Giles, I believe, if I can remember correctly, it's AFCON day, so bit cut for time. I'll be like, rather than half an hour before, we'll be like 15 minutes before the game, people. That is, I believe that's Burkina Faso, Senegal. So yeah, jam-packed day of content, people. Hella content. Make sure you're following on Twitch. Everything's in the pin message. But because I'm so nice, let me drop a link, people. So yeah, man. Any comments, talking points, all of these things, get you in, people. It is what it is, man. G1's killing me. Shout out to you first and foremost, because you're always supporting the thing. You don't understand, Appreciate all of you lot, but you lot think I just say it for the sake of it. I really do appreciate you lot's daily support, if not daily, whenever you can, whatever you do. Man said, even I miss Aubameyang and I'm not a Gooner. For me, I can't lie. I do think there's a bit of a culture change happening. I think the man them are gone now. Obviously, Pepe's days are probably numbered. Laka's gone. Aubameyang's gone. Fair enough. It looks like the days of the handshake and the wavy thing and the icy free thing is looking over, people. Really and truly. So you have to make new legends, man. It's the way it ended, man. It's ended. Oh no, man. It's almost like you've never got to say bye to a family member and whatnot, man. It's unfortunate what's happened to him, man. I don't think he's been a coward, but I just feel this exit. Hit the like button if you haven't. It just feels cowardly. It's like, man, I leave him through the back door, and what brought a tear to my eye is, at some point, Aubameyang played his last game and scored his last goal, and we didn't even, and that was the last celebration, and we didn't even know it. The hottest loves have the coldest ends, for real, man. And I saw that with Alexis. Obviously, Alexis was on the pagan thing. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Boy, man. I'd say Henri was a cold end for me, because I remember, I already told you, when I was a little kid, I remember seeing the newspaper. My neighbor showed me the newspaper, and obviously, transfers weren't as, a transfer is happening on socials. I remember just seeing Henri, what was a picture of him doing kick-ups at the North Camp, making bare noise and carrying on. Brother, the knee slides, the back, the acrobatics, the whole PA, you want to come here business, Like I mean, about me, no one can draw him out, man. You could say what you want about my man's attitude, You can't say he never pulled this club. There was a time where he stood up to be counted and he made the difference for this football club, and he's won an FA Cup and he's been a great captain, and I think he's always had integrity. It's gone wrong for whatever reason. It is what it is. But no one can get at him. And that's one thing I don't like. I feel people just engenders, people are just onto Arteta for this, people just onto Aubameyang, and none of it's true. I'm sure if both parties could go back in time, they would have switched up the thing, man. Like, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate. He's been a great signing. He was a great signing. I wish him all the best at Barca. I've still got my Aubameyang stocks. Big up the Arsenal presser. No player won more Premier League points with their goals than Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. There you have it. And I would say maybe that was another player we kind of wasted, in a sense of we had a player at his peak. We didn't really pattern off the whole squad and utilize that. As you know, we had a striker. There was no creativity really them times. We had creativity prior. We didn't have a striker. And you get it. We love doing that at Arsenal. If we buy a controller, we ain't got a charger, So it's a bit mad. If we got a phone, we got no SIM card. If we got a SIM card, we got the phone. If we got a phone and a SIM card, we got no charger. If we've got all of that, we have no signal. Like, it's crazy. But, you can't take away from what my man brought to this football club, man. I'm going to miss you, Aubameyang, man. Gonna miss you. I love my club more, but he was never on a pagan thing, man. So yeah, I don't even know where to start. Let's start here, people. And Aubameyang's been officially confirmed. You saw the man them training yesterday with the team and that. Obviously, let's actually copy and paste that card. I don't want these lot to tell me anything. Let's make sure we put that in the description. Because they, I don't need no copyright case. I've seen some copyright cases brought up against me on YouTube. Like, hang about, what's all this about? Shout out to YouTube, because I appealed that stuff. Rondo number 9 shit, got that appeal. But it is what it is, people. You got 3. Aubameyang's agent played a blind. I didn't even realize that. Barca and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang have reached an agreement for the player to join the club after the striker terminated his contract with Arsenal. Obviously, significant reduced terms. Arsenal and him mutually terminated the deal. Apparently, there's actually a clause in his Barcelona contract. Any bad behavior, you're gone. The player will sign a contract until June 2025. This is what it is. Young, rich. Why? And I love it. Hustling with an option to agree departure on the 30th of June 2023, and his buyout clause will be set at 100 mil, which no one's going to pay. Obviously, he's going to have his presentation. Ooh, imagine that. I can't lie. I love Aubameyang, but Aubameyang trying to do kick-ups is crazy. So, yeah, man, that's Aubameyang on Barcelona's website. For us, obviously, Aubameyang leaves club by mutual consent. There's rumours we basically gave him 7-8 million euros to cancel that contract, which whatever way you look at it, it's still an L. The club still have to hold their hands up because, you know, you didn't do it on a whim. You calculated whether you could have brought in a striker, them times there he signed the deal or whatever, or how you was going to utilise him. You know, you gave a 30-year-old that 3-year deal. So I'm not going to give you brownie points for ripping it up because there's question marks in that regards anyways. It's a bit reactive. But at the same time, it's good that you lot have seen your mistake, whether it's been exaggerated because of how he's been behaving. You've seen your mistake. I'd rather, you know, if you're going to get rid of him 7-8 million, then, you know, if he saw out his deal, potentially anything up to 25 million euros allegedly. So yeah, it is what it is. Well, pounds at that time. But yeah, as you lot can see, Aubameyang has hit the like button, by the way, people. Aubameyang has left the club by mutual agreement. As you know, he joined us in January 2018 and leaves in January 2022 and won the Premier League Golden Boot in his first full season. He scored both goals in the 2020 FA Cup final over Chelsea. Scored again at Wembley as we beat Liverpool at the start of last season. He's been our captain for 2.5 years. He made 163 appearances, scoring 92 goals. He would have got to 100 eventually. Yeah, man, he's got a whole bunch of other awards as well. We wish Aubameyang all the best for the next chapter in his career and thank him for this contribution to the club. It was all good it was all good 2 years ago, weren't it, though, people? Aubameyang signs new contract. Should we see what was said at the time for Aubameyang signing new deal? Signing for this special club was never in doubt. It's thanks to our fans, my teammates, my family, and everybody at this football club that I feel like I belong here. I believe in Arsenal. We can achieve big things together. We have something exciting here, and I believe the best is to come for Arsenal. You know, situations can change. You know, you can love one job 1 year and decide I want something else. But yeah, man. It's incredible for Pierre-Emerick to stay with us. He's a superb player with an incredible mentality. Ooh. Incredible mentality. Being the player to have taken the least amount of time to reach 50 goals with this club tells you everything you need to know about him and his way of working. He's an important leader of the team and a big part of what we're building. So, I mean, Arteta, fair play, you know, if you believed all of this stuff at the time and still probably believe it, but despite all of that, you needed to take a hardball approach. I understand it, but at the same time, it's a bit bewildering, but, you know, it's very reactive. Let's just hope that we're not here again, really. You know, we've been here with Ozil. Different reasons. We've been here with terminating Ozil's deal, Kalajinac's deal, you know, big up Aubameyang. I don't know who this brother is. I don't even want to say his name. Number 12, I don't know you. You're still pitching about Arsenal all the time. You've traumatized us Arsenal fans more than you ever could imagine in your training session. We didn't want you to come. Pussy old. But anyways, Edu said it's clear Aubameyang loves the club and everything we stand for on and off the field. He's obviously a very important part of the team, so we're all delighted he has committed his future to us. It's a big boost for everyone, fans, teammates, and staff. It is what it is, man. Allegedly, you know, they are trying to improve the culture within the club, and transgressions like those within the club say Aubameyang has made on numerous occasions set a precedent that sends a bad message to the rest of the squad and undermines Arteta's authority. Big up LT Arsenal for, you know, I assume collaborating what David Ornstein has said. Bearing in mind, I'm not doubting this, but we've got to remember David Ornstein, unfortunately, gets drip-fed stuff from the club, all these media. So my point is, you know, draw conclusions for yourself, whether you side more with the club, with Arteta, with Aubameyang or whatever. We've got to remember why people are saying things. I'm not doubting David Ornstein's integrity. It's just sometimes man are guided in certain areas to say certain things. We've been knowing this. Arteta, we've been from the start, he's tried to improve the culture and big him up for that. You know, I do think we're overcompensating on making out Aubameyang's the bad guy in this and whatnot, where from a sporting point of view, it should have been done anyways. We shouldn't have had a reliance anyways. It just, you know, we're forcing it really and truly. You don't get brownie points for rectifying your own mistakes in life. You know, you get but it is what it is. I'm told from the moment Aubameyang was stripped of his captaincy, there was no way back. As someone that was also stripped of their captaincy and was made to leave a bit like a coward, you know. I know exactly how you feel, and then for me, there was definitely no way back. So Aubameyang, there's no way back, really. So yeah, man, it's peak where Aubameyang is concerned. But yeah, man, he said to the Arsenal fans, this is him himself now. And if you're gonna hold back the tears, people, thank you for making London home for myself and my family for the past 4 years. We went through ups and downs together, and your support meant everything to me. Having the chance to win trophies and the honor of being captain of this club is something I'll keep in my heart forever. I've always been 100% focused and committed on doing everything I can for this club, which is why leaving without a real goodbye hurts. But that is football, true. I'm sad I did not get the chance to help my teammates in the last few weeks, but I have nothing but respect for this club and truly wish all my guys and fans all the best and many successful years in the future. Love, Oba. I've always been 100% focused and committed on doing everything I can for this club, which is why leaving without a real goodbye hurts, but that is football. And to be honest, their relationship has been, if I'm honest, you know, I'm telling you for free, their relationship has been shit since the Villarreal fixture, and the handling behind that. They've had a mutual understanding, but it's been love or hate, even to the point where the first time the way Arteta handled himself in the press around the Villarreal games with Aubameyang's legitimate reasons for things that were going on at the time wasn't the same. And there's going to be a time for Arteta to talk the truth, Aubameyang to talk the truth, and us to see the truth. And I promise you, there's a lot. I promise you, there is a lot more than that meets the story. There's a lot more rumblings. That obviously it's culminated in him being stripped of his captaincy. I'm telling you, there's a lot more than meets the eye. I'm trying to give you a lot of cryptic message there. And yeah, as you know, he was traded already. You know, he was traded yesterday. I mean, they talked about his commitment. He you know, off his own back. Not that he hasn't got the money to do it, but he got on his own plane ticket. He got his own haircut. He put pressure on the club to release him. He tore up his deal where he would have got fat 20 odd million, where he's 30 odd. Not everyone can be agents and do things. You know, money has to last a lifetime. You know, took a significant pay reduction. You know, boy. Can't tell me my man's a money grabber and all of that nonsense. Come on, man. Hit the like button if you haven't, man. But yeah, you know, that's Aubameyang. So again, Aubameyang gets somewhere that he can play and be under an employer where he has a chance and doesn't have to feel like some sort of dark cloud. Arsenal fans, we don't have this drama. Arteta, I guess we can just get closer to just criticizing you about football or praising you about football. So everyone gets what they want. Allegedly, Aubameyang's Barcelona transfer went through in the final minute of deadline day after Arsenal sent paperwork late. I don't know how true that is, because eventually did it not become clear that he was going to tear up his deal at Arsenal, become a free agent, in which it becomes irrelevant about paperwork and them thing there, allegedly. But let's see what the article has said. You know, Jean Laporta revealed the Gabon striker's departure from Arsenal was almost scuppered because the Gunners were late in giving the green light. So maybe there was small hope that we could do something. But yeah, you know, he reveals the paperwork only arrived as the window was about to shut. The documentation finally arrived when there was a minute left of the market to close. If everything goes well, we will present Aubameyang at the end of the week. So yeah, in the next couple of days, it is what it is. Jack done an interview. I seen it. That's great for Jack, but I mean, we can pre it, but I mean, it's irrelevant, really. You know, Jack Wilshere, big up Jack. You know, give him a new deal if you must, but it's irrelevant. You know, respectfully, it's the same old story, man. No, you're trying to get fit, you're trying to work your way back from injury. You've had a tough time. Arsenal mean a lot to you, I know that, but if you're not gonna give him a new deal, it's irrelevant to man, really and truly. Like, you know, it don't give me no comfort, really. What are you lot saying? Where you from? What you G checking? From around here, cuz. From around here. Allow me, bro. From around there, man. I'm from Earth, man. Man said Daily Deucer might be dead, but Daily DG marches on. Big up yourself, K. I appreciate that. And is it really though? We might, you know what? You might have spoken too soon, my guy. You might have spoken way too soon, man. You might have spoken too soon, because just because you palmed it there, we were going there. You know, we might as well really. Daily Dusan, last ever edition, people. As you know, maybe in the future, Vlahovic signs for Arsenal, but at least for the next 5 years or so, his contract or a significant future, it's a myth. His ex-employees or his ex-employer, Fiorentina, their chairman has had something to say. Dishonest and liars. Club chief furious as representatives sent to England, likely Arsenal left empty-handed. Scrolling all the way down in relation to Vlahovic, it was all very complicated. One day, Dusan was messing with the fans. At the end of November, I tried to close the renewal, but his agents were dishonest and liars. We discussed the meeting was also good. Then I was waiting for answers. The next day, we gave him the appointment to close, but instead of getting closer to negotiation, they brought us another huge surprise. The contract of 4 to 5 million net a year was no longer enough. And to be fair with you, obviously the chairman isn't going to want to pay someone more money. Him and his visors, they want to play for big clubs or do things. I don't think Vlahovic's agents are doing anything wrong. They have loyalty to Duslan and what he wants to do, not the club or a prospective club. But fair enough, this is what he's saying. Dusan wanted 8 million net a year. Agent also raised the commission figure because again, I don't think it's right, but man can play for better clubs and bigger clubs respectively. They wanted 10% on a future resale and exclusivity. You know, tried to get you by the balls, really. My managers went to England to deal with foreign clubs because you probably tried to give it the Barado thing. Like, F you, man. England, they got bans in it. As you're seeing, we've spent the bottom half of the Premier League has spent more than some of the top 5 leagues in this Jan. We've got peas. We're gonna go and get him a move. They said, yeah, say nothing. We've got an agreement. It was a game of poker. Clearly, Fiorentina buckled towards the end of January. Arsenal, for I don't know what we was doing, but you left empty-handed. My manager went to England to deal with foreign clubs, but Vlahovic's camp always said no. They probably already had an agreement with Juventus and perhaps even as a free agent. What do you expect, They had the intention of expiring and ruining Fiorentina, as is often happening now. They wanted to make themselves rich on our skin. And there was also something they said about, I read this yesterday, and there was something about they wanted to do the Kylian Mbappe thing. Wenger said free agents were going to become a thing. I can't begrudge him. You really think Vlahovic's agents were unreachable? They're unreachable to you. They're unreachable to you. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. You lot didn't want to sell him to Juventus. Arsenal wanted a striker. 2 clubs have been left short-handed, but it is what it is with Vlahovic. Daily Dusan is coming to an end. He explained, Vlahovic has explained easy decision to snub Arsenal for glorious Juventus. Luis, calm it down with the way you're making these statements. Calm it down, bro. Calm it down. Glorious Juventus. Hopefully, make sure they pattern that Serie A title away from Inter Milan. They probably will. In fact, where's my Juventus top? I'm a Juventus fan in that. But boy, I'm emotional. I'm proud to have signed for Juventus. I am ready to give my all for this glorious club to reach its objective. There were many rumors about foreign clubs, but the choice was easy because the club and I have a similar DNA. I tell him, saying Arsenal DNA is not his thing. Fight and suffer when needed. Hey, we fight and suffer at Arsenal, We fight and suffer all the time. That's our DNA. We are fighting. Us fans are fighting and suffering right now. Have you seen our January window? Have you seen the start of 2022? Have you seen the last league finishes? Bro, you want to fight and suffer? Come on. I think it's part of my mentality as well. The choice was not difficult. I fit in here. Bro, you would have fitted in here at Arsenal the same way, if that's it. I want to thank the president and everyone else who made this move happen. He spoke with Chiesa before making a decision. Yeah, man. He said being a role model at 22 is a mad thing. I'll be really respectful. I don't really care for that. Apparently, Newcastle failed with a £33 million bid for Manchester United and Arsenal target Fabian Ruiz. Now, the word target is subjective. I think what fans in general fail to understand is every club, especially Arsenal United, look at everyone. You're going to look at everyone. Whether you're onto them or not, it's a different thing. And they've probably looked at Fabian Ruiz for years, doing his thing. I don't know if he's a necessary target for Arsenal United or if whoever it is trying to get engagement, but he's a player I'm sure a lot of you would love. Spanish technique, Spanish midfielder, technician, got everything you look for. Good passing range, can carry a ball, can play a different couple of roles in midfield. Not that old as well. Again, Napoli, I don't think they let a man go for 33 million, but yeah, 25. So you get it. Age is of the right standard, wonder of a left foot, decent little player he is. Should have been bagging their man before he went to Napoli. And he's contracted until 2023. So a bit like Basuma, Telemans, Neves, clubs are going to have decisions to make in the summer. And it does feel like there's a lot of options opening. So, yeah, man. Boy, and his agent has spoke in 2020. No, I forget all of that. This is irrelevant. But, yeah, that's something I would like. Arteta, you should know him. He's a midfielder like you. He's a fellow Spaniard. I'm sure everybody's, he's kind of a household name in to Premier League fans, but football fans in general, despite the fact he ain't played, he's a baller. But whether there's any truth in that, I don't know. Do you remember when I did a video on Grealish, people? I ain't been following him as over the years as intense, I was put onto him purely because of watching Reece Nelson on loan, same way I saw Joe Linton, and I couldn't believe Newcastle at the time spent 30-40 million on him. Lo and behold, I know he's playing some midfield role now, but it didn't really bang for him. Smash the like button if you haven't, people, and set your reminders on Twitch for 3:30 with Graham, 5:30 with Giles, and obviously 6:45 for AFCON. But Arsenal considering summer move for Bundesliga midfielder also on Newcastle's radar. So I just think these are the man them that Newcastle want. He's a free agent at the end of the season, allegedly, people. And there seems no signs of him doing that. He's 26 years of age. From what I remember, very, always wants the ball, comfortable in tight spaces, can carry a ball, good passing range, decent little player, decent little player. Would not be against getting him on a free transfer, to be fair. Obviously, I want someone that's, a bit more drip to it, but I think he would be decent at 26. But I don't know if there's any legit interest. It's everybody can just say interest. The club is never going to come out and say, yeah, we want him. No, we don't. It'd be exhausting for every club if they denied or approved every rumor. So we'll never know. Arsenal and Newcastle allegedly lead the way along with Roma and Napoli. A move to AC Milan was also on the horizon, but failed in the summer after the two clubs have failed to agree a fee. There is also rumours, obviously, of Saka and Mikel Arteta signing new deals at the end of the season. Definitely for the little Chile, I think that's long overdue. For Mikel Arteta, I think the jury is still out, really and truly. Again, it confirms he's the man for the long-term project. But again, I just feel you should be rewarded with stuff like that for achieving things. If this is any other walk of life, you're not going to get a salary increase or anything at your job if you don't bring results. I know in the UK, there's laws and whatnot that, sees things rise with inflation and whatnot, but you're not going to get significantly more responsibility or rewarded if you don't hit results. I'm not saying he hasn't hit results, because I do see somewhat elements of a style of play, more stability, things that I don't think I should be praising a manager for. And if I'm harsh, I shouldn't really praise Arteta, because a lot of these conclusions you should have reached sooner. There's a lot of things that Arteta has to be forgiven for. There's a lot of problems in the club. There's a lot of things that need to change at the club. But at times there are, self-inflicted wounds that Arteta has done. But yeah, it feels like the bar's on the floor. Considering we finished back-to-back 8th, we need to see a proper style of play from now to the end of the season. When I think of Arsenal, I know exactly what it is. In the same way when you think of City and Liverpool, some fans, I think they like, let's be honest, Arsenal have weird different fractions of fans. There's fans that think they know more about football just because they can put fancy little heat maps and say, well, if you can't see Arteta's style of play because Tomiyasu is going narrow on the heat map, this and that. Football's a simple game complicated by idiots. If you can't show someone his first game as Arsenal gaffer and the last game, and there's not a significant sort of change, which there is, but again, you get the point, is what it is. So Saka, long overdue. Martinelli, long overdue. For me personally, Mikel Arteta, I think we should allow it for a sec, really, with a new deal. Obviously, if that's your man, then it is what it is. He seems like he's got a good relationship with the Kroenkes. He's doing all right. You kind of is tight, long term is in it, long term and all that stuff, long termism and whatnot. It makes sense, but yeah, we've got to remember football is a simple game. It's a results driven business, and I do think there's a lot of overcompensating. It's like even this January period, how have we managed to do this whole negative thing where Arteta is a dummy and he deserves to be sacked in January, or we've done this somehow where it's admirable. It's neither of the two. We've got out of a situation with Aubameyang, but and I know if you can't sign players, don't sign any, but you shouldn't be praised for any. It's sticking to your guns and all of this. You shouldn't buy players if you don't feel their quality. So it's like, I do think fans overcompensate a lot and there's no in-betweens, but yeah, man, get that done. And allegedly, we already know we paid Aubameyang to rip up his deal, allegedly 7 million, people, which again, it is what it is. You say, you save 27 million. It is what it is. You take the hit now. But boy, apparently the time state that Aubameyang was caught training. Well, we know that already. I feel like I'm missing something out. There was something along the lines with Pepe. There it is. Close. Because you're just starting to make it look there. Ooh, who are you? Don't know who you are, but allow me. And bun that wronging. Arsenal willing to let Nicolas Pepe leave with at least 3 clubs keen on the transfer. Arsenal are willing to let Nicolas Pepe leave the club on loan on deadline day. Oh, sorry, people, this is old. I thought this was a new recycled thing date. When you go on Google and you press an hour, it came up. So I thought that was new. But yeah, we know Pepe might be allowed to go. Apparently, where is it? Because I saw something online today that Pepe was offered to clubs and they said no. Let me find that. They said Pepe was offered to Marseille and hella clubs. And also, people, if I didn't make it clear, apparently there's a clause in Aubameyang's contract. Any misbehavior, they can rip that up. So yeah, I can't find the Pepe. That's a bit jarring. Where's the Pepe one? Apparently Marseille, Lyon, and someone else want to go for him in the summer, and he's contracted until 2024. So a decision needs to be made, man. Really. Boy. Gonna miss you, Aubameyang. But yeah, that's that segment, people. Really, like what more is there to say? Really and truly, that's them lot, innit? And we have it. What else are you lot saying? From Arsenal to Barca, best of luck, Aubameyang. Well, to be fair with you, he said he wanted to be an Arsenal legend. I don't know if he'll ever go down as that cult hero and whatnot, probably. But you know, one number 14 was our captain during the Emirates era. He left and joined Barca. Is what it is. Give the SIM card to Nketiah. Your phone's not ringing. He's dead. We do love an unfinished project. And I hope, this is where I hope with the young players now, with Martinelli, Saka, it sees it through, because we know how if you don't, the story's going to end. You know, one day these lot are going to be in their mid-20s and deep, okay, cool, I've got a platform now. Because I still think Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, these guys, they're still in the wow mode. Wow, I'm playing for Arsenal, I'm playing Prem. You know, I love it, this and that. Once they deep that, yo, man's a Premier League footballer, this and that. They've been in the international scene for a while. They're talking to other clubs. What do you expect that's going to happen? Some of you, you know, we work real jobs. Some of you have been in one place. You feel like there's no development. You talk to other people in your industry. It is what it is. In the same way we spoke clearly, Saka has had to say something to Ramsdale and Ben White on top of everything on England at the England duty, and they thought about it. What do you think? You think Saka's not speaking to them players? What's he like playing the champs? What's he like doing this? What's he like doing that? So if we don't tie in with these experienced players, then we're going to lose not just them, Gabriel, half of these guys. You know, there's going to come a decision where they might love Arsenal, even Ox at the time. You know, not that Ox is ever going to be mentioned with the potential in that, but people begrudged his move. It was a sideward step. In hindsight, it was a great one. But, you know, he loved the club and all of that sort of tosh, but he had to move. I'm sure Grealish loved Villa. A career short. You couldn't reach his ambitions. And this is where we need to, this is why I'm so harsh on the experienced players, because what these experienced players do now tie us in. If, for instance, Lacazette is unable to score enough goals to get us top 4 or top 6 or whatever, that has direct consequences of who we bring in, which obviously sets any potential project back, which again has knock-on effects for the young players in and around the team. So yeah, man, potential is a buzzword. Everyone's got potential. I've seen some guys go on and become footballers. Some man that had all the potential end up in jail. So potential in life is just potential. It's what you do with it. It's how you realize it. Realized potential is everything. Let's add a positive. I'm not with adding positives where there's none, but let's hear you out. All these top managers talk about wanting smaller squads. If we're not seeing notable things improving on the pitch, then I need to question the coaching. I hear that. But I could say, to be fair with you, I could see stuff with Arteta. But yeah, man, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a positive to add or a positive in general, really. You know, it's just more so a comment. Good morning, DG. I feel they was trying to be clever, having lack of film some of the training vid, like everything is fine and dandy over there in Dubai. At the end of the day, where is it? We have to get on with it. Have to get on with it. Arteta, not mentioning Arteta in his farewell says it. Oh, I mean, fuck that. The guy that shagged you. You think when I left AFC Everton in my goodbye messages to my teammates, I'm praising this stupid advice. I mean, you know, I was about to name names. You think I'm going to name certain coaches? You think I'm going to name certain people that should be sticking to admin, making footballing decisions? You think I'm going to do any of that? It's fuck you, man. One love to my teammates. You get me? Safe you, man. Other than that, fuck you lot. It's a that thing. Simple as that. And like that's what he's done. Shout out the fans, them. Shout out the fans. Shout out the man, them. But boy, like, come on, man. Like, fam. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Top of the morning to you, DG. Hardest working content creator out there. I hope so, man. Want to be the smartest, though, man. Working hard don't correlate too much, but I appreciate that. His tenure shouldn't have ended like that. Remember, he's been where he's been there when we needed him the most. Respect to him, always trust. I can't lie, Aubameyang. You get me? When you want to talk, don't go on these mainstream platforms. You need to come on mine to because I want to hear every detail, man. You know, in 10 years, 5 years, not even that, I'm capping, man. But when Arteta calls it a day as a manager, I need to hear his side. I need to hear his side anyways. And I think they did it at the right time because he will be asked about it when we play Wolves, but it's like yesterday's news, isn't it? A day's a long time, a week's a long time. When are we back in action? Is it next week? Or is it FA Cup next week? I think it's next week. It'll be old news then. Until, you know, someone else misses a sitter or red and things are said. Shame he never came out and said sorry when he was suspended to the club and its supporters. I mean, fair enough. Arteta's just salty because Oba is bigger than he'll ever be. I don't know, man. You know, I don't know all the facts. I get the sides of you need to take, no matter who it is, you need to take a hard line on discipline. But and I get the fact that people might think Aubameyang's hard done by, and that from a tactical point of view we're weaker. But at the same time, what I'm looking at in Guendouzi's case, unproven kind of young player, kind of, you know, fans will kind of side with you. People wanted to see Ozil gone. Aubameyang's form made it different. It would be very different if Aubameyang was banging the goals and he was that 20 league goal Aubameyang. So I'm keen to see when this does happen. By God's grace, it doesn't. If it happens with someone 30, someone that we actually need, where are we going to be with that? Pardon me, because you saw it with Wenger. And Wenger always used to do, it's different, but he used to do it in different ways. Do you remember when Alexis was acting up? You know, apparently beefing Koscielny. He dropped him for the Liverpool game, then brought him on. You got to know how to play the game. And what I want to learn from Arteta is whether you think you're right or wrong, stop yourself in that situation and say, what signs could I have read? How could I have learned? Why did I give him a new contract and rip it up? Could I have not seen these indisciplines at the time? What happened? Maybe there was indisciplines already in Aubameyang's game, but it's just we look a bit healthier now. Now we can afford to nip that in the bud sort of thing. Just learn, everybody just learn from this situation, whether it's giving people contracts, whether it's how we handle people. You know, did you give him too many chances? Did you not give enough? Was you too harsh? Was you not? Just learn from it. That's it. Boy, Lacazette and Nketiah for the rest of the season, that's suicide. Boy, all I would say, what Pep needs to do, honestly, whatever them City players give their players, City's coaches give their players, Arteta needs to phone his ex-employers and get Eddie that juice, man. He needs to get Eddie that juice. I'm hoping for an Eddie Nketiah, you know, half-season revival, Joe Willock-esque. Go on, man. Put yourself in the shop window. Get yourself a wavy signing on fee and new contract, man. Go and show Arteta why you deserve more than at the moment of doing this 55 minutes in the league. Lacazette, come on, man. You know, if nothing more, just, you know, if you're going to score 2 goals, just make sure the celebrations are lit, man, because between Aubameyang and Lacazette's passion merchant stuff, I'm going to miss a lot, man. Good, interesting comments, man. And Nketiah 14. Anyways, DG, do you think you're meaning to say Martinelli can handle the pressure? Well, it's not, she's going to have to play in it. I think you could give him experience, but there's going to be some games he's going to struggle physically where you're going to need to play Lacazette. For me, I said Aubameyang, I've still not accepted he's gone. For me, it's a Lacazette thing because he gives you the general play and all that stuff. And then Martinelli would be the next in command. Eddie, you come off the bench and do your thing. If we get into a place where Eddie has to start, I think we're in problems. I feel not that I rate Eddie particularly highly, but I just feel in typical Arsenal standards, when somebody feels like they're going up a level, they're leaving. And what I mean by that is I am seeing Eddie look a lot stronger physically. I am seeing a bit more to him in terms of general play. It's not levels. It's not good enough. It's not acceptable, but I'm seeing it. And I just think at least, you know, with Aubameyang and Lacazette, if Aubameyang was on form, on song, scoring, then Lacazette nowhere the week starts ahead of him. You're prepared to put up with the fact that Aubameyang might miss some calamitous chances. He might not be the most sauciest on the ball, but he's deadly in front of goal. As we used to say, especially on this channel, if Lacazette and Aubameyang aren't scoring, you know, then it's irrelevant what Aubameyang has. Lacazette is the better footballer. Aubameyang was the better striker. Go, you know, whatever way you wrap your head around it. Goals win games. Strikers' jobs are to score. You know, a lot of people used to say Lacazette is more clinical because he takes less shots and whatnot. And logically, it made sense, but it doesn't, does it? You know, half of these players have high volume efforts. Salah, Kane at a time, Aubameyang, etc. We all know when Lacazette is playing, when the goals are on the thing, he gives you that general play. And I just think, worst comes to worst, you know, we've already given ourselves that, you know, we ain't brought in a striker. I know we've got Pepe. We're going to have to lean on these guys. I just feel at least you're knowing there's a certain level you're going to get from Lacazette. You're going to see fives minimum, at fives and up. You know, you might see an occasional game where he's bottled it. With Eddie, I don't know. We've got 17 games left. I don't know what I'm getting from Eddie in 10 games, 5 games, 10 games. Respectfully, I don't know. You know, and again, as much as I like youth footballers, you've got to account for sometimes Eddie or even the younger strikers. For 1 week, they might be 10 out of 10. They bag a hat trick. The next week, they miss an open goal or they miss a chance that doesn't go in one end. They go, the other team cut us open, go down the other end and score. These are the things that are going to happen with young players. A lot of you waffle about Saliba. Any of you watch Saliba versus Lyon yesterday? You know, he had a good game, but he got absolutely twisted by Dembele. And there was times in that game where he's putting pressure on his teammates. You know, obviously, I'm not criticizing him. He's a young man. My point being, young players are going to make mistakes. You know, you've seen it with Lokonga. You've seen it with Tavares. And they need a facility and to make these mistakes. But we're at the business end of the season. Mistakes cost you points. You know, and if everyone's got a mistake in them, even the experienced players, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you'd rather these young players make it. But we're at the business end. And Lacazette is going to give you a certain sort of standard, really. You know, Lacazette, he's not got too much pace. He's going to drop deep. You know, he's probably not going to get in the box enough times. And when he is there, it's hit and miss in terms of him scoring. But, you know, half the time VAR does something for us or we get something. Lacazette street smartness is not far from the crime. Obviously, he gives a physical presence for the more technical players to, you know, play 1-2s, bounce off. He can hold up the ball. I'm more on that to the end of the season. And then for me, it's a Martinelli thing. I just think Martinelli, he's his old man, but that's Alexis Sanchez in that false 9 season loading. Like I see Martinelli as someone that can play on the right, play on the left, play up front, do all of these things in it. So I think you might as well give it Martinelli because he's going to be here. You know, Arteta convinced Nketiah as much as you want, but wait, you've gassed him. He's played 50 minutes of Premier League football. Martinelli thing, you know, he's better leading through the line or something along them lines. So that would be it for me to the end of the season. Not that we have much choices to do anything else. Love for the super chat. You're from English. I live in England. Yeah. We're saving 14 for Gnabry. As I always say, that's great, Sandro, but shirts, bro, shirts and scarves. That's great. Big up you lot, man. Come on, big up the Trini badge. Come on. Man said Aubameyang Premier League. Aubameyang's an Arsenal legend. The bar's on the floor. Respectfully to him. Catalan King, you're trolling, so I'm gonna give you your comments. You know, I'm gonna give you your 5 minutes of fame. There you go. Look, mommy, I'm famous. You happy now? There you have it. If you deep it, Arsenal need to do over 10 deals in the summer. Departures and income is at a minimum. Do you know what? That sets up something quite great, you know, really, because I tried to write down. I wouldn't necessarily say 10, but probably you're right. I tried to put the summer to-do list. Like, obviously, I'm not going to... Do you know what? You lot... Nah, let's not. I haven't shown you lot the Google... I just think it looks horrible in it, so I won't show you lot the Google sheet. But in the terms of the summer, provided that summer was tomorrow, in terms of incomings, I've put in bullet points. You need a centre mid, in brackets, ideally 2. I think you need one that is going to replace Xhaka, quite frankly, you know, and demote him in some capacity, because I'm pretty sure when the summer comes, he's going to get linked with them Italian clubs again. The flirting is going to be big, is going to start again, really. And yeah, you know, you've tied into a new deal. He's 29. You've given yourself a bit more security. We hear Roma onto him as well, so we'll see how that one goes, you know. So ideally 2 central midfielders. You get one that can raise us a level and really enhance us, and maybe someone in the same way you got like a little bro for Partey in Lokonga. Can you get a little bro for this new guy, a number 8 or something? Forward, clearly, ideally 2. And what I mean by that is your marquee man. And can you get someone that for the squad that, for me, obviously could score goals. But if they've got Lacazette strengths, for example, hold up play, etc., assuming we're back in Europe, we can use them. They obviously, you know, you're going to need people off the bench. So ideally, the first two statements I've said, ideally that's 2 players. Really, it should be 4. So yeah, if it was up to me, 4, I'd say 2. Backup right back goes without saying. Whether we can move Cedric on is another thing. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is still contracted on paper. We all know Cedric's probably won that battle. I would move on Cedric tomorrow if I could. And I don't know if we'll be able to do something. I actually don't know when Cedric's deal is up, but pardon me, backup right back, evidently. I said for me, maybe a 5th choice centre back, you know, because obviously, by God's grace, Saliba's coming back next season. He'll probably start off being 3rd choice. You've got Ben White and Gabriel. Holding probably will be there, but I don't know if he will say, do you know what? I can't get in ahead of them. Saliba's coming. Boss, can I go and get some football? Considering the fact of, you know, he might be a leader, part of the leadership group and that, but if he can get enough every summer, he's linked with Newcastle, all of these sort of clubs, we might say, do you know what? He cost 2 million. I'm sorry, he only cost 2 million. You know me, I like Holding. We might say, you know what? There's some peace to be made there. Let's do whatever. But assuming that didn't happen, you'd have what? Assuming you're in Europe in some capacity, you got Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Rob Holding. Maybe just need a 5th guy. I know Tomiyasu can do that. I'm not saying a mad outlay. Can scouts just bring in someone that's reliable? And I know Pablo Marie technically is going to be coming back in the summer, but really, yeah, man. So maybe a backup centre back. I would say goalie, but we've already brought. Well, Matt Turner's arriving in the summer, in it, really and truly. In terms of outgoings, again, we know Guendouzi's basically a Marseille player, but confirm that Torreira, confirm that departure. Maitland-Niles, give him a new deal or confirm that departure. The 3 names I've just said, they're 2023. Leno, the same. Confirm that departure. Cedric, I put in brackets just because I don't rate. Keep it moving. Marie's clearly a mistake. Pepe is something that we're going to need to address as well. I don't know if it's how the last 2 seasons have gone. You know, he's our player of the season, really, for the second half. He does well. And then, you know, we go off and, you know, the season ends and then it's like, I don't know. It's like all them few months are forgotten and we're back again. So I don't know. Pepe might get a lot of football. You'd imagine Pepe gets a lot more football at the second half of the season, and we're going to need him to be like a new signing, but that's something to address. Obviously, you've got to actually assess where the young players are at. You know, Balogun on loan at Middlesbrough, not asking him to come back at moving like a prime Thierry Henry would love it, but see his level. Can he be part of this team now in some capacity, or is it a next loan for a full season? You know, Saliba, is it one more loan? Is he going to be involved or whatever? And the rest goes for them young players. And there's obviously general information Arteta wants to do. It goes without saying. You need to pattern, you know, Saka, Saliba, Martinelli to new deals and make a decision really and truly. So, yeah, man, summer, you need to do it. There's a lot of things we need to do in the summer, and there's probably a bag of other things. Like for me, if you could bring in a winger on top of that, I would. But yeah, for me, minimum is 2 signings. Minimum. Again, if we're really stripping it down, centre mid up front, minimum. And really, I would say 4 should be the minimum. But this is what this club do. We should have signed one in Jan, a midfielder. The summer, we should have signed one last summer. We should have signed one. The minute Partey came in, we should have signed 2 midfielders that summer. So my patience is quite thin where midfields are, and any problems or consequences we have in midfield with injuries, with suspensions, that specific area, I don't have much sympathy for anyone at this football club. And as well, because when you look at it, you could say we always say we've address the spine of our club and stuff like that, and it is true. You know, the defense, you know, we are getting a bit of a tune, or the attackers are playing a lot better. It's literally less a bit regimented and predictable in attack. The midfield is not being addressed, and can you really fix a foundation of a team without addressing that midfield properly? Xhaka and Partey are hit and miss. And again, the very fact that, in my opinion, Xhaka isn't a great player, he's not a bad player, but the very fact of you see his absence, you could say it's testament to Xhaka. You could also say it's testament to what we're doing at this football club. The very fact that we need him to be our heartbeat, essentially, whether we like it or not. He's one of the first names on the team sheet, like Saka and all these guys. And that kind of tells you everything. So move away from, by all means, depend on good players. Don't depend on meaty man. Respectfully, I'm not just trying to make this about Xhaka. We've been doing that. You know, David Luiz and Xhaka 2 years ago, they were first names on the team sheet. If we were going to war, they're 2 names they've got to be involved. But the very fact of these are our leaders, these are our absentees that we're missing, that tells you everything. And again, if we look back at the start of this window, when Arteta said we are short, I think the way we want to evolve the squad, we have to maximize every window in every way. Edu and his team are working very hard because we know exactly what we need to do. I can only judge you on the words you're saying. Is that the summer that the window that just followed? Did that any of that happen? Did we maximize that window? Yeah, in terms of freeing up wages, you know, there's a Kolasinac is gone. You've probably earned some free, you know, some loan fees, and Aubameyang's gone. Yeah, but I wouldn't call that maximizing. Maximizing would have been whatever position or whoever giving this club a bit of a boost. I know in my heart, Mikel Arteta. I've never had a conversation, but I know in my heart you didn't want to end this January period without a signing. So for me, whatever way we kind of waffle and turn into accountants, it's been a regretful January. In hindsight, yeah. The club's looking more healthy. Maybe that means there's more money to commit in the summer for whatever reason, probably subject to where we finish. But yeah, it's brazy. Absolutely brazy. We'll see, man. Summer. That's not useful. Summer / Arsenal thoughts. Yeah. Great comments all the way, man. Why does it have to be an Arteta problem when the directives came from the board who's seen the opportunity to free up wages in the club? Because no one put a gun to his head. He's the manager. You know, when it goes right, nobody gives the board praise. So when it goes wrong, everybody needs to accept it. Everyone. It doesn't, you know, there's no he say, she say stuff. You know, it's never just one sole entity to blame. Edu, Kroenke, Arteta, somebody could have done better. Come on now, you know. Do you think the club are going to sanction that contract at 30 years of age or whatever without Arteta signing off on that? Do you think Aubameyang's contract is going to get torn up without Arteta say so? Come on, P, man. Read between the lines. You're a smart lad. Come on now. You know, this is the problem. You can't just do the team Arteta thing. I don't think anyone is, but the team Kroenke thing, or just get onto Edu, or just draw all of these players out. We're all in this together. If you're part of an organization and you have a yearly forecast on targets, and you and your team are there for a year, and everybody's failed, the manager, the tea lady, everybody's contributed. Come on now, man. Come on now, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're a smart guy, man. Come on. You're better than that. I hope they do, man. I hope they do, bro. I hope, like, bro, you've got enough luck. Bro, let's be real. Eddie, you're 22. You're a London lad. Bro, you're living a movie playing for Arsenal Football Club. Forget all the contract stuff and all this stuff. You're living a movie. There's a potential for you to be the striker. Relish that. The shirt probably will be too big, but relish it. And I would say I want to see fearlessness, because it must hurt. You know, I'm sure I believe in Eddie, like, in the sense of, you know, you're Arsenal, man. I want you to do it away. But do I believe he can score the goals? I shouldn't be begrudged for it. No, I don't believe in his ability, you know. But that's where I should see fearlessness, because the world is telling you you're not good enough. The one man whose probable decision it is in Arteta, he's saying he likes you, he wants to play you, this, that, and the third. So go and do that. And if everybody expects that of you, if nobody expects Eddie to turn around and we'll still go mad, but 10 goals, whatever, you know. You should be fearless, because what's the worst they can say? Eddie's not good enough. Eddie doesn't do it when it's good games. The phone don't ring. Half of these things. Lacazette the same. The bar's on the floor. So really, there should be an element of fearlessness. So I hope they can. If you was asking me to bet money, will these guys score enough goals? Probably not. I'm more looking at Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Saka and saying, yo, you, man, you need to get in that purple patch again. You know, there was a week, Smith Rowe and Saka, them man were R9, and Rivaldo. Every week they were doing something. We're going to kind of need that back, in my humble opinion. Yo, DG, how many points do you think we'll need to take from 17 games to get champs? I don't know, man. Truthfully, I don't know. You know, it sounds stupid. You know, we'd have to look in August, in April. Sorry, I don't know, man. I could look at it in theory. All I'd say is win your games, innit? And we'll talk. That's literally it. You know, we was looking at that in another stream. I genuinely don't know. Don't have a clue. But I do know if you want something, you're going to have to beat the guys that we typically don't. You know, playing well against City, you played well. The sheet still says, the result sheet still says you lost. You're going to have to, you know, good thing is City's done now, but you're going to have to play Chelsea, play Spurs, play United, play West Ham again. You're going to need to probably chalk points off your rivals. You know, we go to tough grounds. You know, Wolves ain't going to be easy. You know, Leicester at home ain't going to be easy. You know, Brighton at home ain't going to be easy. Crystal Palace are going to be on stuff at Selhurst Park. That's never a nice place to go, you know. So it's down to these dons, isn't it? It's down to them. If my guy, I really don't know, but it's down to them. This is the reality. This is what these lot have to do now. You know, whether we should have brought someone in the summer and the January and all these things, it's legitimate talking points. But this is what we have to do now. You know, if we don't achieve whatever goals us fans place on the team, then we talk about it. What the goals of the club were internally, because of a lack of real. maybe there was lack of push isn't fair because there isn't a striker or a midfielder in here, because some of the choices we've been doing, because of the lack of, for me, real effort at times. I don't know if there's real goals this season, you know, beyond just getting a suitable playing squad, obviously trying to get rid of players and whatnot and just make it a bit healthier. But it's very dangerous if you have, regardless of where your club is, if you have no goals in life at all. So yeah, man. And I don't feel comfortable saying right off the season and all this bullshit that's already said. You can't have it both ways. Does Arteta have an issue dealing with big egos / personality? To be fair, I would say yes, because that's all it seems like. Anyone, and typically the good players have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. I'd say yes, but at the same time, I don't know that, because just, you know, just because they're household players doesn't mean anything. You know, I used to say, for argument's sake, Ramsdale's not a difficult character and Arteta's patterning it. I'm not saying he is, but I don't know. I've never, well, you know, I've done an interview with Charlie Patton, you know, shameless plug, go and check that out. You know, I've never spoken with these players. I don't know what they're like. Lokonga could be on crud, you know. Someone could be the nicest guy. I don't know. So, but on the face value level, it does look like that, man. Messi false. Aye, Messi struggling in France. Come, man. Xhaka does. Arteta doesn't want anyone with a backbone in his team. That's a bit harsh, because half of the team have a backbone at the time. That's a bit harsh. Bit harsh. You think Gahiri is ready to lead the line at Arsenal? I wouldn't say lead it, but he's improving and doing his thing, and he's bounced back from his injury a few years ago, man. Pepe to Newcastle. I don't know, man. Mikel underprepared for last August and now underprepared for January. He's more like Wenger, his former coach. I respect my guy Wenger. DG loves a smooth transition, shameless segues. Why not, man? Shout out Daniel Ballard. He might do something, but if I'm Ballard, I probably want to, you know, I don't want to be Arsenal's fifth choice. Respectfully, it's Arsenal. It's probably better than Millwall, scum of a club. But, you know, I would want to go and play football regardless of where I am and start my own little career. I hope he does bang. I'm glad we didn't take Morata. I'm glad and not glad. I'm glad because I don't really rate Morata and stuff. But when I remove, I don't want to say pride. That might not be the right word, but pride and ego and these things, you know, could we have done with another striker in the squad? You know, if there was an opportunity to explore the loan market, potentially, yes. You know, obviously, Lacazette and Eddie and Ketty are a headache already. You know, you've got Eddie. You know, Eddie just doesn't. He always looks like he's falling on the floor. Lacazette can't score. Morata probably does a bit of both. You know, so it probably would have been brazier. But when I remove my personal opinion on the player and whatnot, there's that. Mavropanos is gone, my guy. He's gone. Pepe don't care about Arsenal. Why would he put a shift in? How do you know that? And even if he doesn't care about Arsenal, it's in his best interest to play games, man. What are you talking about, man? Can't I please people? You know, I respect everyone's opinions, but can we think about what we're saying before we start speaking? Like, in life, it's vital to do that, man. Pepe getting a red card was also a sign of bad dressing room morale. All his friends about to go, Aubameyang and Pepe and Laka. I mean, James, bloody hell, man! Talk about getting at 1 + 1 = 7,000. I hear you. You might not necessarily be wrong, but come on now. Partey got a red card because he's being stupid. He had two quick yellow cards in quick succession. He's being silly. By all means, the very fact that Partey's had to run back from Cameroon, probably down in some rare nefs on the flight, you know, come from Cameroon to whatever, you know, however he got to England to play that same day was a problem. But I mean, bad dressing room morale. Naturally, your club is going to have good and bad moments, you know. Obviously, naturally, if you're, you know, in work, if everything's going right for you at a company, of course it's a better place to be at. When things are going wrong and there's inspectors looking at you and the manager's stressed out, of course it's going to be a slightly more toxic environment. But bloody hell, because Aubameyang hasn't got the English premium that Harry Kane does. Mate, you talk complete sense. Everybody involved, everybody, every boot. Appreciate that, my guy. We win, lose, and draw together, bro. Like, we're meant to do this football club thing. I don't like all this he shed. It reminds me of snitches. You know, in school, when you, well, out of school as well, when you do a madness and everyone gets pulled into the room. We all did this shit. Like, there's none of this. You can't start going, but I did this and they never, bro. We're all in this together. We all got to ride it. Simple as that. And that's how it should be in a football team. And I see that. For me, you can't get onto the players when we lose and not Arteta. And when we win, it's all Arteta and not the players. It's everything or nothing. Play. How tight Aubameyang followed his career from early on. Didn't believe he'd end up playing for me. Think you mean my club. The pulling power of our former great manager. Wish all the best. Wish my guy all the best. Trust, man. Wish him all the best. I'd say Aubameyang's done well. I remember. Let's be honest. I remember when Aubameyang was rubbish. Like, he used to be a rebuild for time, and then it's like he went Dortmund. I don't know if he started becoming 30 before he went Dortmund, but it's like he went Dortmund and then started getting respected. I'm sure he was a joke man at AC Milan. He went on bare loans and all these things. I remember when Aubameyang was a joke man. Respectfully, I remember when he was tired. Like, Aubameyang was kind of tired. Do you know what? Big up Aubameyang, but you was tired. Yeah, bro, you was tired. Come up through AC Milan. Did his thing at AC Milan at a point. Went on like 3 loans. I guess became somewhat 30 at St. Etienne. And then the rest is history. He was robbed for time. But this is why, you know, Aubameyang's a perfect case. You know, it's very difficult to find strikers, you know. And what I mean by that is you need to watch them year on, year out. This is why, again, I have a lack of patience with Arsenal. Again, it's easy for me to say as a fan. But I said, you lot, you know, C's always here. You've been here for about 3-4 years or whatever. I said, the minute Aubameyang signs that deal, you man need to know who's coming into this club. And what I mean by that is you might not sign a striker the year he signs a deal, but you might look at one now. Oh, he's had a good year. Let's pre him next year. Okay, he's had a good year. Let's see what can he do it again. This is the time to move for him. Sometimes players are not ready. I look at Jonathan David. This last 18 months to this season, I'm not saying he's ready to lead Arsenal's line and that, but he's looking ready for a step up. I'm seeing different things in his general play. This is what we need to do, sort of thing. And all I hope is that we learn from hindsight and apply better foresight. Aubameyang, the need to replace and find a striker has come about because of the bust up and the lack of form, but it's always been blatantly in front of our faces. You know, in fact, experienced players has always been something we've tried to not deal with. You know, we need to have an honest conversation about Partey. Let's be real, and how the club Partey hasn't done well in many aspects at times, and it's been hit and miss. But the club haven't equipped him. Xhaka is hit and miss. Aubameyang and Lacazette, at the end of the day, 1 minute one's in the team. Then we're trying to have both. You know, the ages they're at, we need to move away from their reliance. Both were out of form. It's the experienced players we need to have an honest conversation about, because once again, what these experienced players do now sets up our players for the future. And this is why when we're bringing in Willian and pardon my language, fuckery like that, and Cedric and Marie, this is where the issues are, because they're not levels experience. Wait. Big up Jason. Right off season. That's dead though. Write it off for what? Like, this is, you know, that's, and some Arsenal fans are coming with that. You know, you can't have it both ways. Say, oh, it's a free hit, write it off, and then say you need to push for top 4 and top 6 and there's question marks. You can't. Writing off a season, what? So the man ain't in holiday mode already. This is Arsenal's best chance of Europe in a while. This is probably Arsenal's most optimistic season in a hot second. And we're at that point now. We go left or we go right. It's down to these players what happens now. Because as someone said, 17 games, enough tough games. You know, there's games we should win, games that we don't know, but end of the day, you got to fight. The boys, I don't know what points tally, but the boys and the club, they need to have, like I said, when you go from August, you focus from August to the end of the year, from the end of the year to about February, from February to April, from April to May. But at the same time, if it's these 17 games, these lot need to have a board on the thing now. A board, everyone needs to hold themselves accountable, but these lot need to have a board in the changing room. 17 games. Who are these 17 games about? How many points possible? What points we potentially need, and go and do that. All right, man, I love my club. I'll always be here. Number 1 targets at centre mid striker for the summer. No clue, man. No, I don't know, man. I don't know at this point. You know, I'm kind of done with the transfer chat. I'll be real. I'll be real. You know, I'm kind of happy January's closed. I never got a centre mid. And to be fair, you heard these men were talking with Telemans. But hey, free hit from what? Like, what is a free hit? You know, I expect us to do things, you know. What is a free hit? So what? You might as well just not turn up then. Because free hit tells me there's no point trying to get 3 points. There's no point trying to finish as high as possible. There's no point trying to implement any systems, formations, and things like that. Brother, what are you? It's not making sense. And to be fair, Eddie didn't specifically say that. He said there's no targets, and I think there is targets. He's just not opening himself up for criticism, which, boy, to be fair, best thing he ever did. Cause Summer was mad. You know, fans, myself included, I'll come up with the receipts. Currently, we've looked good with him and without him. I true say some man was snitching still. Bare strikers are late bloomers, bro. Someone mentioned Harry Kane. What was Harry Kane doing at 22? What was Aubameyang doing at 22? What was Jamie Vardy doing at 22? What was Salah doing at 22? Man have to develop, man. Fuck Greenwood, man. And fuck his Bale as well, man. The wickedest thing is that tells me he actually know everything I've just seen with this Greenwood brother. Unfortunately, nothing has said he's been charged. If you think this is moaning, then you need to fuck off, because I haven't moaned at all. If you want to hear negativity or positive gobbledygoo, you need to go somewhere else, man. This ain't the platform for you. The main issue is the consistency. You just have to hope you can get a good run of form. I don't like hopes. I don't like ifs. I don't like buts. Well, the galleys, but you get it. Bro, big up Aubameyang, bro. I'll be doing the Breaking Bad scene, getting all that 7 million and just lying on it. Yeah, 20 goals in 6 games. That's great for us. But if anyone says Arsenal, if you look around the squad and say Arsenal have got goal scorers consistently, or anyone you could bet on for a 38-game period, you're lying. You know, there's been times where we've looked better without Xhaka. There's been times we look great with Xhaka, and the following narratives are followed. You go back to the Spurs game, you know. We could say that figure about Aubameyang, but Aubameyang scored the most goals of in correlation to points of any signing. So then you could say Aubameyang on his best of days is a match winner. Forget looking at Aubameyang, look at the goal scorers. You know, if you find another striker, there's no issue. So you lot can have your personal agendas to just act like Aubameyang was never a problem or he's faultless. You can criticize him and act like you know these things, or you can look at the truth. Simple as that, man. Whatever gives you lot, confidence. What gives you confidence for the rest of the season? I see a struggling manager who does bad business. This is what I'm judging. Why ship out players when we need players in those positions? I wouldn't say confidence, I wouldn't say confidence, It's just, it is what it is. Just stand up tall now. You might have to stand up tall. We've made our bed. It's time to lie in it. Only Man City beat us in Jan. Did we win? You guys are complaining about Burnley when on a normal day we hardly beat them 1-0. But then that kind of, if we hardly beat Burnley, teams that you need to take 3 points off, that tells you everything. And this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You're living in very short term, week to weeks, because a lot of the things I'm saying, I said it in our draw at Brighton. I said it in our victory at Newcastle. Midfield. Said it at Norwich at home. Said it at Crystal Palace at home. A week's a long time in football, but come on, man. Common sense is not that common, man. If this is what I'm talking about, you can either find ridiculously, positives or negatives, or you can just look at what's in front of you, which you're trying to do neither. It doesn't make you any less of a supporter or any more of a supporter if you criticize or praise. I know people love to do this. You're not a real fan and all this BS. But it really makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Like, people don't stop and think about what they're saying. Let's be real, though. Who can we really attract if we don't make top 5? I don't know, but considering we finished back-to-back 8th, are we really going to sit here and say there's not... I don't advocate bringing in players for the sake of it, but we're really going to say there's not players that can improve you in that. Hey, man, send me some of that. Send me some of them, Cali. Man said sell Saka and reinvest that to Messi. Send me some of that, Cali. But man said on a normal day, we hardly beat them 1-0. Brother, what are you trying to do? Ain't that the point? Ain't that the point? Doesn't that kind of help the point? Any sort of teams know to play against Arsenal. Deep block, stubborn defensively, Arsenal not breaking you down. We are weaker. You know, we are weaker. We haven't strengthened the squad. Like, yeah, we freed up wages, but yeah, if anyone looks at that team and said we strengthened it, you're lying. Like, these players hardly played, but we've got 17 games, and as we've seen throughout the season, we've had injuries. You know, any of the players that left, I don't really care because they're not really playing, but a couple injuries as we've been seeing. And for me, we've already got some building blocks, some sort of stability, and these sort of things. As you saw against Burnley, when there's one injury and you now need to move Ben White over there, Holding can't do the Ben White thing. So that has a knock-on effect for our midfield, which in turn has a knock-on effect for our strikers, which in turn makes it tougher for us to break down a low block, which in turn makes it tougher for us to score goals, which in turn makes it tougher for us to get 3 points. Stop and think. Come on. Like, come on. Come on, man. And obviously, again, that's going to start killing the fluidity of the team. So by God's grace, if nobody gets injured and nothing happens, we could do all right in these 17 games. But ifs and buts, listen, just pray, innit? you were saying some of this stuff during preseason, even DG, bro. But people tell me I've got agendas. My only agenda is seeing this club go back to where it used to be. I can only comment on what I see. If there's a bag of things to be positive, if there's a mixed bag, which there is, then yeah. I'm not going to say positive BS because it sounds cool. I'm not going to say negative BS because it sounds cool. I'm going to say what I think and feel. I'm open to always being proven wrong, but I've been waffling about midfield in particular for time. We've been knowing the striker thing, you know. Man, not even getting that like a man acting like, why a man acting shocked that like I don't score goals? Because when he was missing penalties and missing some of these calamitous chances, we was doing, you know, it was cool. It's only when the results happen. When it was the Everton game, man, I seeing it. It's dead, man. You know. Crazy stuff going on, man. I don't know if I'm speaking facts. I'm just speaking facts. I'm just saying what I feel, man. Bro, what about bringing Guendouzi and Terrell to solve? They're gone, man. They're gone, bro. They're gone, bro. Like, logically, it made sense to keep one of them, but it, you know, Torreira didn't want to be in England. Guendouzi and Arteta, for whatever reason, they had a fight. Ainsley's not playing games. It makes sense to let these guys go and try and get fees for them, or in their cases, go on loan, put themselves in the shop window. The problem is the knock-on effect. Other clubs were not letting certain man go. You know, obviously you've seen Van der Beek finally freed at United. Couple Spurs have got rid of a couple, but you know they've still got. United have a big squad in some cases. Spurs obviously brought in some replacements, so it gets to that point. You know, for me. And I do think fans fall for it. At this season, I don't care about no one's personal stuff. Who thinks they should play more? All of these things. If we find, like we have, you know, when we had Partey, Xhaka working, I didn't give a flying monkeys about Ainsley Maitland-Niles losing his spot in the team. I think fans want it their own way too much. You can't have stability and then and have results and want to be competitive, but then scream everyone gets a game, bro. Man, need to go join the Barnet League or something like that. You know, the gloves. I said it at the start in preseason. The gloves were off for everyone this season, and I fully meant that. And for me, again, you know, obviously we know there's in a squad, there's very different levels of ability and things. But for me, as looking at my manager, or if I was a manager in the Prem, every man in that 25-man squad, respectfully, I've got to have confidence in. Whether I expect them to play one game of the 38 in this Premier League season or all of them, or when their time comes, I have faith in them to step up. To which, okay, cool. Now, whether it's strikers being injured, lost of form, leaving, okay, cool. Lacazette and Nketiah. That's the thing now. This is what you got faith in. The defenders, the midfielders, the Xhaka and Partey. We've bet on that to be the midfield. Lo and behold, we've had mixed results, mixed periods this season, and mixed performances from those two together and those individually. There's been games Partey has not, you know, if we got the Burnley game away, you know, when it was Partey and someone else in the midfield, he don't need Xhaka. When Xhaka came in, which nobody wanted against Spurs, that's why Xhaka plays. That's why they should play together. There's been times where people have said Xhaka is holding Partey's hand, rightly so. It's a mixed bag. Like a lot of our players are a mixed bag. 5 games, we talk about a couple of them. Do you get it? And it's more so the experienced ones, you know, respectfully, Lacazette, Granit Xhaka are them. Let's be real. I love Thomas Partey. I try my best not to mention his name when I make these points. Partey's one of them now as well. The experienced players are scaring me among everything because I need assurances from you. I don't get that. I get the assurances from the young thugs, them. Like, We know that Saka, Smith Rowe, all these guys are gonna have off days, and they should be allowed to have more off days. But they're the only ones I have real confidence in. You know, Ramsdale's just come in. I like Tomiyasu. Obviously, for me, Tomiyasu last couple games showing his age, but we like Tomiyasu because you know what you're getting with him. You know, they're the guys that give me confidence, not the people that when I think of Arsenal, I should be saying their names first. We say their names last. You know, and if I was these experienced players, respectfully, I'd feel I'm not levels because Saka's been in the first team 2 minutes. He's Mr. Arsenal. Smith Rowe's Mr. Arsenal. Martinelli's just basically signed. He's Mr. Arsenal. Ramsdale's been here 2 minutes, man. I'm talking about being captain. Rightly so. Tierney was here 30 seconds. The same was said. So for some guys that have been part of this thing, boy, you need to look at yourselves. Boy. Bro, every time I say Guendouzi's gone, I feel like crying, man. I cannot lie to you, but because that was my guy, man. Watching him yesterday, that was my guy, man. Arteta is not the solution. I hope he is, but if he's not, I hope the club in it. Then in it, really. I want everyone to do well, but my loyalty is only with Arsenal Football Club. Because when you lot are not loyal to Arsenal, you know, I'm sure Arteta's worked at Arsenal, this and that, but there was a job there for you to take. And I'm sure one day, if Barca or City or, you know, if you don't feel Arsenal are investing in this thing to your level, you're going to keep it moving. As much as I like Saka, Smith Rowe and these things, and they say they're going to be at Arsenal for life. Let's see if they feel the same way at 25, 26. I'm going to be, rightly or wrongly, for better or worse, an Arsenal fan. And to my unborn kids, you're going to be doing the same thing as well. In fact, you know, I want my kids to be new. I want them to be Arsenal fans, but honestly, I want them to be neutral, you know. I think that's the best way. Just be a lover of football, man. Just be a lover of football, man. I mean, I don't know who told you Saliba had a fight with Arteta, but I hear that. You know, people need to rise up some evidence when they're coming with them things. Just not playing. Like we criticize the man for not playing him, but like not everybody's fighting, man. And don't forget at 3:30, people, I'm going to be live with Graham. That's on Twitch. 3:30, 5:30 with Giles as well. And 6:45, I'm going to be alive as well. This is all on Twitch as well. Obviously, check out, please, as well, people. Any comments that you don't want me to ask Graham or whoever, please make sure you're commenting it in the YouTube community tab. I think I've obviously done that for you lot. I can't see the value in keeping Eddie. He may turn out to be a baller in a few years, but we as a club don't have a few years. We need progress. Now, ching. You know, I don't get it. If he goes to an English club, you're going to get some sort of money because you've offered him a new deal. If he goes abroad, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. If I'm Gladbach and all these clubs, I'm looking at Eddie, whether he's going to be 30 or not. You come here for 18 months, 2 years, we'll get a 15, 20 million for you quickly. You know, you're a gold mine there. So it's a brazy one, man. DG's kids to support Spurs. They can support who they want. This is if that's the case, make sure you know who's buying the kits, because it won't be me. And all of a sudden, when you put them kits in the wash and they're thrown away, boy. There is neutral. I know neutral football fans, man. I know genuine neutral football fans. There is. So if that's the case with Eddie, we need bullers now. Why are we keeping Arteta? But you need to speak to that made me laugh, man. It made me chuckle. You need to speak to the Arsenal board, man. Their questions on us common football fans or us commoners, we can't answer, man. Really, what other things are going on in the world of football? Even though with the transfer window's done, you know, there's always small hope. Let me see, small hope. You know, can we just wake up and agree something for the summer? Aubameyang said, I'm very happy to be here and I can't wait to get out on the pitch. In the end, it was done. It was a very hard day, but in the end, I'm here and eager. I'm very happy. It's one of the largest clubs in the world and it's an honor for me to be here. That's why I signed for Barcelona. Gonna miss you, buddy. Gonna miss you deeply, buddy. Wait. Here's what it is, man. I mean, respect to Jack Wilshere for all these interviews and stuff. And I mean this in the nice way. I don't really care. Like, it's nothing to do with Wilshere. I know these youngsters are good. I know he loves Arsenal. Don't help me, man. DG, who's had the worst start this season between Laka, Partey, Tierney? Partey. I think Laka's obviously up until the last couple of games, he's had a little purple patch. I feel Tierney got respect on his side once again. After the whole people saying Tavares ain't really with him. If I was started this season, for me with the fullback union, I'd probably say Tierney. We got to move on, man. Life goes on, man. Life goes on. Life goes on. Give us respectfully to Aubameyang. You slap us another striker. We're not going to waffle about Aubameyang. Like, you know, if not now, he's going to have to deal with it a year from now. Well, a year from now will be, you know, January 2023. But he'd have 6 months left on his deal. So you need to pattern something. So, boy, it is what it is. Unfortunately, Arteta and Eddie's jobs are safe. Mistake after mistake goes unpunished. They've cost the club millions and team performance is lower than ever, yet they're still here. Harsh. Much love, DG. Like, subscribe to this channel, people. My take on the whole transfer meltdown is the team that we are left with is a good base. We have to support them until summertime. I mean, support doesn't mean condone everything, though. Money saves, not a conversation. Obviously, you lot got kids. Some of you got kids. You support your kids. It doesn't mean that if you feel they're doing bullshit that you're going to accept it, isn't you? Some of you got friends. You'll support what they do, but it doesn't mean you're going to condone everything. Supporting doesn't mean blindlessly following or not having an opinion. I'm not saying you're saying that. I just feel if you don't just shut up with the regime, if you have a trail of thought for yourself, I feel there is a section of Arsenal fans that sit there and say, well, you're not a real fan, you're not this and that. No, you need to be an independent thinker. Be open to being proved wrong. Be open to the fact of your opinion is no better or worse than anyone's. Your opinion is not a fact, but be an independent thinker, man. You know, because if you're not an independent thinker, you're either just attacking this club blindly right now because of what we did or didn't do, or you're consoling yourself with the fact and you're somewhat lying to yourself and comforting yourself and you're being an accountant and saying, oh, well, man, you know, I can sleep good. We didn't sign a striker, but we saved 25 million in wages. Like, you know, both is not it's not the right answer, is it? Like, I know football is tied with emotions and whatnot, but yeah, man. Is what it is. An upsetting thing about the Obos thing is that he didn't hit 100 goals for the club. What he has done, does he get legend status? I mean, legend, if you're not Henri, Bergkamp, Vieira, if you ain't done stuff like that, you can't, you're not a legend. I think he can earn the title of a fan favorite, maybe a cult hero, a legend. No. Shout out to him, though. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Legend, Miv. The club clearly don't care where we finish this season. That's why Arteta didn't put a goal, probably. It's bad enough we have players letting us down every week. Now we got to handle the fact that so-called sporting directors costing us our season. Where does it end with this club? I don't know, but I really would like more competence. You know, I would like, you know, if it came to it, I can't lie, I'd prefer Mikel Arteta to stay over Edu. But I just feel you need an experienced director, especially when you have Januaries like that, where let's just say you went into it trying to get Vlahovic. It didn't work, where, you know, this Aubameyang thing snowballed even more. You know, make something happen again. We're not advocating spending for spending purposes, but maybe someone else with more experience just make something happen. So, boy. Shout out. I don't know if, you know, Barca, though, 2025, 3-year deal for Aubameyang. I don't think people understand. His agent played a blinder. He's got another 3-year deal. Then they're gonna have to pay him if they want to terminate that. You know, there's a great clause where he can say, you know what, I'm busting out and get paid. Boy, Barca sly shake themselves. You know, slyly Barca. Obviously, Aubameyang's gonna score goals, but slyly, I would say Barca have got a player. But Arsenal have lost a player. I'd say you both Barca have won because they've got a player. But you know, I think the real winner is Aubameyang there. No, I'm not watching Arsenal anymore until summer. Bit of a harsh one, you know. I'd say watch it, but fair enough if that's not unity. Wenger for director of football. In theory, it sounds nice, but I don't know if he's forgiven people at this club or he's still got the emotional attachment. Because one thing I feel was the problem with Wenger towards the end, he stopped making good decisions for Arsenal, and it became he couldn't differentiate Arsenal from Arsene. And I think I really deep that when he gave Giroud, Coquelin, and El Nene at the time new deals, the one that El Nene is still on. I don't think so. Hey, Zagreb, big up the creations. Don't see you lot on my live streams too often, but appreciate you lot. What? No Luka Modric's there, my guy. S. No, you ain't got the next Luka Modric. You see, this is what we need to do, man. That's where we need to be going these sort of places. Find these guys. I know work permits, all these things makes it difficult, but yeah, man, we need to be doing all of that. As long, and this is a great comment, as long as his heart liaisons have fully recovered and Oba still has good pace, he'll get a lot of goals. Fundamentally, man, the man's health. Where do you think we will finish this season, bro? I don't know, man. I ain't got a crystal ball. If you fight for it, you know, mathematically you could finish as high as higher, but you could finish fourth, you could finish eighth again. Whatever narrative you lot want to spin, these players need to work to it. Pepe has one problem at Arsenal, and it's his attitude. That will be the only reason why he will leave. I mean, what attitude? Where have you got this? Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but like, is there cold-hearted evidence? Can you point me to a place where that is where there's confirmed statements of such? Because even Arteta, even though he's gonna say things, when he's saying things like, "Oh, he's a good player," he just, he works really hard in training. He's trying hard. Where is the evidence? Sometimes players, it's not always bad attitude. Like we can't unless we can throw something of tangible evidence. You know, where is the attitude thing? We need these journalists, Watts, Ornstein, and others to start asking proper questions. Some of the decisions at this club need questions. To be fair, I like the way Watts asks his questions. I just want to know. Like, I'm not trying to catch anyone now. I just want to know. Like, where did you see that about that Pepe has bad attitude? By all means, if he's got a bad or a good attitude, he deserves to be praised or critiqued for it. But where did you know that? You know, it's very easy to make stuff. And that's the problem, you know. Is it sustainable? Because we haven't got Mo Salah or one of them sort of man on the wings. So, again, and you look at our squad, our top goal scorer is Smith Rowe. Respectfully, when you look at all of these players, would you say they're necessarily goal scorers? Martinelli looks like the most I would describe as a goal scorer. Smith Rowe and Saka are learning, and that's an element to their game they're bringing in. Hey, man, Dermot, I like you because you're always here, but none of them shit jokes, man. Come on. I hope he does the mad thing at Barca. You know, I hope he does. Who did Arsenal sign this window? Matt Turner, some centre back from some centre back from America as well. You know, that young lad from West Brom who I think is quite wavy, really. To be fair, Martinelli kind of plays as an inside forward. You know, I think that's when I think teams are clocking it, but I think that's where kind of we compensate or overcompensate with Martinelli and his legs in behind because I ain't even got my tactics board. Where is it, man? We ain't used that for time, bro. Where's my tactics board? Where is the tactics board, man? But it's like, well, obviously, Laka drops. My man runs in behind off the last man. Where's that tactics board? Because I need to. I got. You know, where is the fucking my tactics board? I'm gonna need that today, man. I'm going over tactics for my team. The fuck is my tactics board? I don't know where my tactics board is, but yeah, man. I disagree. We need Oba to do nothing at Barca to justify letting him go. I mean, it's a bit of a weird flex, you know. I want him to do as well as he can, you know. There's the only way you justify letting him go with the wages saved. There's no winners. Bring out that board, mate. I can't find it. But what we can do is use this quickly. Okay, let's reset that. Okay, so boom. Let's just you lot of blues. Let's push this back line up slightly. All right, that's type in Laka's name. All right, boom. If I share my screen, this I think, and this it didn't work against Everton. There's times it don't work, but obviously Laka's not got the legs in it. When Laka does get in the box, he misses. But Laka's dropping deep. He ain't got the pace to get in. And I think teams clock that. They back themselves. I don't think Laka's the slowest in the Prem, but he's not the fastest. You know, I think centre backs back themselves in a foot race. Naturally, anyone that plays football, if you back yourself against a striker in a foot race, you're gonna say push up higher. You know, you're going to push up your line slightly higher and whatnot. Obviously, if that's Aubameyang, not to praise Aubameyang, or if that's Martinelli who's a spring chicken, you got to think twice, innit? So I think this is where and teams are clocking it. This is where we kind of do our thing. Let's just push this defense back a bit. Obviously, this is what I mean by overcompensating. Now, Lacazette dropping means their whole team is going to come forward, like we see. And then I think you've got Martinelli over there. He kind of hangs on the shoulder. Obviously, he kind of does a couple of multiple roles. He's out wide. I don't advocate hugging the touchline because them days are gone. You look at the most prolific people like Mo Salah, Sterling, they're in that half space 9 times out of 10. But like here, again, it's not to scale. But yeah, he runs in behind, innit? Like he occupies that last man. Obviously, if Martinelli's there and he's quick and he's young, you're going to think, hey, shit, we need to drop this line, or I need a centre mid to help me, or we need to double up. We need to do something of them natures there. So yeah, man. I wish him the best, DG. Don't get it twisted. He was poor for us. I mean, Lee, don't really make it. It really doesn't make sense. You say you want him to do well, and then you know you saying you want to justify him going. We've saved peace regardless, and I think many people are more on Arteta's side really. So it's not making sense. If Arsenal's all you care about, Aubameyang's no longer relevant. So it didn't matter what he does at Barca. I think you mean that, you know, you don't want that inevitable question asked if Aubameyang does well of why did they let him go? With every goal Aubameyang scores and every time we struggle, that's the question. With every time we do well and Aubameyang struggles, that's the question. But it's irrelevant now. He's gone. Save for the memories, it's over. When I say his attitude lets him down, I mean in terms of when it comes to minutes he expects to start every game. It doesn't make sense, bro. I can't lie to you. But fair enough. I think we must use Pepe as a centre striker. I mean, it's better than Nketiah, but Martinelli, slap Martinelli up there for me, man. If any messing about, Martinelli up there. I think Pepe's got a role to play as well, my guy. But for how long? Is he going to do this? Are we going to do this where he helps us to the end of the season? And then we, you know, it feels like next season he can kick on. It's like the game has restarted. I mean, Isaac for his release clause isn't getting done in it. So there's no point discussing Isaac, really. Big player, good player. But right now, he's looking a myth. I hear what you're saying, CJ. Nice name, same as me. But fundamentally, the question that I've asked you, you still not answered it. Where did you get this info? How do you know? That's it. Like, I can't move on without any of that. Like, where did you get that? Yeah, I mean, he's being molded for a striker, of course. But we're going to need man for today, though. Bring up the Nigerians locked in. I wouldn't say famous. Nonetheless, big up the Croatians, man. In Croatia, there's a giant pool of talent. Eddie should come. Trust. DG, what would the fan base give him more time if he finishes 8th in the next season, not top 4? I don't think you should get that. DG, no disrespect, but just saying this saving wages business is not the thing. No other club says this stuff. We are told players' wages. This is the point. This is my point. That's my point. I can understand saving wages, but I don't care about it. I care about the football. This is my point. Some people, like I said, Joe, respectfully, I think people are hearing what they want to hear. This is exactly my point. You either bury your head in the sand and, you know, delude yourself. Oh, we saved wages. Like I said, if we need a goal, you can't go. Arteta can't go. Aubameyang save wages. There you go. You can't do that. But again, you can be, and then on the flip of that, rightly so, you can be angry about a lack of recruitments, but you cannot discredit the fact of moving this guy's wages on. So yeah, man. Bro, Pepe was never that worth that. It's not even 72 million up front, but the outlay potentially reaching that. Leo swindled us. Shout out to Leo, and for Arsenal, got jugged and finessed, really. But yeah, on that note, people, as I said, people, I'm going to go and get some lunch. You know, I've got a big day of content. Like I said, make sure you're following on Twitch, people. You're doing yourself a massive massive disservice purely because, let's get them both together. There's hella content to come today. Set your reminders and all that wavy stuff. Looking at it, people. What today? You've got Graham at 3:30. We've got Giles after. Then we've got AFCON tomorrow. I've got Mo, and then you've got AFCON. Probably be Football Manager at some point. Definitely Friday. So yeah, content, and more content. Make sure you're there, people. Without you lot, it's not going to be the same, is it? Really? Can always rely on DG for consistent streams, even though you're late sometimes. Big up. Who's late? Me? I don't have any sources close to him, but someone close to me went to work for CAF, and that was one thing that was the issue him and Zaha had. I hear that, but again, I need to see proof. It's just a lie right now. Not even a lie. It's just a rumor. Respectfully, you might have them contact, but I don't know that. I haven't. You're asking me to rely on you. I don't even know what you look like. Respectfully, I can't rely on your word. All it takes is for people to say source is close, my source, and whatever. You could very much well know his dry clean. Pepe's dad's cousin's mother, grandma. You could know all of them. You could know where his, the favorite pastry shop he likes to go to in Finsbury Park, and you could know all of that. But man, just hearing bare hearsay. So yeah, man. End of the day, bro. Trust saving wages, and this is it. Fans are gonna bury their heads in the sand, or fans are gonna become accountants, bro. Rather than the uncomfortable truth in that there's some positives, there's some negatives. We're in a halfway house right now. Whatever narrative Arsenal players and management want to decide is what it is. I hope it's that narrative of we made a big risk in January. We've got Europe, but if not, of course, we're gonna look at this as maybe not so much with the Aubameyang thing, of it just being a mischance and ultimately naivety. But is what it is, man. I'm gonna get out of it for real though. Get some lunch, and then I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna go get some lunch, get patterned up, and then I'll see you lot in a piece, man. Like I said, check out the community tab, get your questions in for Graham, etc. Stay blessed, stay safe. Obviously, we're at the halfway point in the week. I hope all of you are moving that much closer to your goals, hopes, ambitions, and aspirations. Let's keep doing that so we have a week to remember. I appreciate all the support. Please make sure you're subscribing on both YouTube and Twitch, especially if you've got Amazon Prime. Set your reminders. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. Information's in the description. More time. Most importantly, stay in good health, people.
There's always just that active red flag, defending.
I think it's like